Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Oh my goodness. So today we're going to talk about tools to manifest your money goal as if by magic. Yes, and I have some notes on my computer in front of me, so you will see me referring to those if you're watching this by video. If you're listening by audio, don't worry about it. So one of the things I want to talk about first is manifest and goal. If you've been hanging around with me for a while, you know those are two words I don't often use. However, in this case, I did use them. Ta-da! Obviously. Now, why the heck would I use them? What I was looking to do with this radio show and also with a toolkit I've put together, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is to invite more people to this awesomeness. What occurs when you hang out in Access Consciousness for a while, which you guys know I do and I have for like years, 10 years, and I love the tools and I live the tools and I breathe the tools and I talk about the tools all the time, is that we end up doing something that we jokingly call in Access speak, which means we're pretty much only talking the way that other people in Access could understand. So normally I would call something like this tools to actualize your money target. Now that's awesome. If you know what the heck I'm talking about, if you've hung around with me for a while, you would get it. But if you haven't, it becomes a reason and a justification for people to separate. So what I was looking at with this radio show, and again, the toolkit, was how can I speak to more people? How can I invite more people into this awesomeness? And this is what popped. This is the title that popped. So I know a lot of people in my world went, what is she doing? Yeah, and I'm ready and willing to just blow people's minds and do whatever's being asked to be created. So here we are. Here we are with tools to manifest your money goal. Now, let me actually talk about manifest and goal from a different angle, if those are words that you're familiar with, and maybe you haven't hung around with me that long. And if not, welcome. I'm so incredibly grateful you are here. One, when we talk about the word manifest, what we usually are meaning is for things to show up. However, if you look up the definition of the word manifest, it means how it shows up, not that it shows up. So the word, if you would like to match the energy, and you do not have to, obviously, you could use the word actualize, because actualize means that it shows up and manifest means how it shows up. So I'm going to take this a little bit further, guys, because to me, this is something everybody on the planet should be aware of. We have a modality, or we have in Access, we have one of the hands-on healing techniques is called bars. So Access bars, which is 32 points on the head that we touch to do a whole bunch of different magical awesomeness. There's one that we run that is called the Circle of Manifestation. So remember, manifestation means how it shows up. So it's kind of like a circle part on the top of your head. When we run it, what we do is we clear all of the points of views that we have about how things can show up. Yeah, right? So I'm going to tell you this really amazing story from years ago. These couple of ladies took a bars class with me. They'd never met before. They met at the bars class. They really connected. And what they started doing was they were swapping bars once a week. And they did that for a few months. And the one woman who lives in rural Saskatchewan and her husband were driving home one night. Nobody else lives out there. Totally desolate road. Okay, I'm extreme here, but it's not like living in a city, okay? So they're driving along and they see this box in the ditch. And the woman says to her husband, I think we should stop and look at that box. Because she said it had no dents, it had no markings. It was really just like as though somebody set the box down. So They got out, they looked at the box. What was in the box was specialized insulation that you would use on your pipes in a bathroom. Now, why is that so magical, Glenyce? Because that woman and her husband had just finished renovating their basement. The only thing they had left to do was go to Home Depot and buy, you guessed it, the specialized insulation for their bathroom. In this box was the exact amount they required. The circle of how it shows up. So when we don't have points of views about how things can show up, guess what? They can show up as if by magic. So that's manifest. The word goal, if you get the difference, so let's use the two words. Goal, just take a moment, just goal, just with that energy of that word, goal. You can even say it out loud for yourself. Goal, target. No, not the shopping store in, I think it's just in the States. There used to be one here in Canada, but it closed quite quickly. So target, like as in a target, as though you're like shooting an arrow at a target. Goal, target. So for me, this might be different for you. For me, target is just much more expansive. And what that often is the goal is quite solidified usually. And often when we are going towards a goal, if we don't get there, we do all sorts of crazy judgment. We stop, we spin, we distract, we do all the crazy. Now, target, that's a totally different energy. Target is like you can shoot an arrow at a target, you can hit the bullseye, you can hit anywhere else on the board. Heck, you can even go beyond it. In fact, your arrow could fall short of it. I mean, there's so many different ways that it could be. You just want to be really aware of that energy difference. If there isn't an energy difference for you, that's totally fine. And I only give you that information as information because when I put out this toolkit, so it's called the Ultimate Manifest Your Money Goal Toolkit. When I put that out, I have had hundreds of orders for that, my sweet friends. So people enjoy those words. They are not wrong to use at all. And I'm so grateful that I finally got out of my access speak and into a whole different world of what's actually possible. Now, personally, I will still use the word actualize and actualize and target, because those just feel yummier for me. And they're not right to use. And manifest and goal are not wrong to use, but I just wanted to speak about them a little bit more with that. And so let's get to the tools already, my goodness. So tool number one with manifesting your money goal is to start asking for what your target is. Which means, my sweet friends, you actually need to know what your target is, or what your goal is. Sorry, I'll be using the words interchangeably, so just flow with me, guys. You want to look at, like, what is it? Now, the way that I've set up the toolkit is to do it per month. That's how I do it. I don't really find I work as well when I'm looking at a whole year. It just doesn't work for me. A month, that's ease. I don't get bored with a month. It's super easy for me to do. So the way the toolkit is designed is per month. And so if you look at that, like, what would you like to have in your month? Yeah, oh, there's a lot of energy that just came up with that. Oh my gosh, okay, wow. So I'm going to use the clearing statement from Access Consciousness, everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it all. Whew. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Interesting. So in the toolkit, I actually have a workbook called How to Set Your Magical Monthly Goal Workbook, which also comes with an instructional video to help you go through it. And so it could be some of that energy was like you don't know how to figure out what you would like. That could be. Some of that energy could also be that it's wrong to ask for that. It's even maybe wrong to think about money or to want money. Oh gosh, everything. That is my God, my friends. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I almost called you my guys. That's weird. I think I was going to say guys, and then I changed it to my friends, and then, anyway. Wow, yeah. Whew. Yeah, well, and if you have that point of view, kudos to you for listening to this now, because that's magical, my sweet friends. That is freaking magical. When we have these, what I call limiting points of views, or probably what everybody calls limiting points of views, and we choose beyond them, that is magical. That is so incredibly magical. So kudos to you. Congratulations. Yeah, and the cool thing with clearing stuff is we don't have to know what energy is there. We just recognize there's an energy there. For me, you will often hear it when I'm talking because there's like a sigh, I guess is the best way to describe that. And you might have a different way. For some people, they feel it more in their body, or they have, some people start yawning a lot. There's all sorts of ways it can show up, and there's no right or wrong way. You just want to recognize what your way is. Otherwise, you might think you're a little bit weird in the way you react sometimes. Yeah, so looking at what you would like your monthly amount to be. And again, I've got a whole workbook and video that walks you through that. But you can also just look at, okay, what would be fun? What would be fun? And then you want to start asking for that. So what would you like? And then start asking. So there's a couple ways that I like to ask. One is I love to wonder. I wonder what it would be like to actualize at least $1,000 this month. I wonder what that would be like. And then when I'm wondering, I'm actually wondering. So I'm not just saying the words, I'm actually like wondering, like what would that be like? And I get a sense of what that might be like in my life and in my living and all of that. So it's not just a wonder, it's an energetic wondering. And then the other way, also a wording or a question from Access Consciousness, or the way we use the words in Access Conscious. What energy, space, consciousness, and choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can me and my body be to actualize at least $1,000 this month with total ease? So those are two different ways. You might have your own way. You might like to write things down over and over. I know some people who love to do that. You might like to sing it in the shower. I mean, it doesn't matter. But what you want to be doing is ensuring that you're asking for it. Because a lot of times what we do, because we're so cute, is that we go, oh, it'd be fun to have $1,000 a month, but then we don't ever ask for it. Now, there's lots of energy behind that. Often it's because we were told not to ask. We were told to be happy with what we got. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. So whatever that might be for you, will you just start and create it all? Whew. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, podpoc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, tool number 2 is I'm going to say, now this might be, I'm just checking in. I'm actually going to say it because it feels really true for me. Tool number 2 is the tool that has changed everything for me in every area of my life. So not just money, I mean every area. And tool number 2 is very simple. Track it. Track it, my sweet friends. Track it. For me, I track my weight. I track my weight. I just said that. I track my waist. That's the word I was trying to say. I track money. I track money coming in. I track money going out. I track anything that I would like to stay present with. That's what I do. And it works so well for me. I know me. I know that if I stop tracking something, it's because I'm not choosing to be present with it. And there's information for me in that. So in this toolkit, I have created, of course, a Google spreadsheet tracker so that every day you can go in and put in what you brought in the day before. And it's got all the things, it adds it all up. It's all fancy and beautiful. And it tracks it. And it's what I use every day, my sweet friends. Every day. And I highly recommend. Now, you might want to do it a different way. Maybe you like paper and pen or something else. That's fine. But do whatever you can to track it. And track anything that you would like to change in your life, guys, because it's so... is so easy. This is mine. In the past, I have found it more ease to put my head in the sand about things than to actually be present with it. And I have a radio show back from May of 2014, and I know that because I always talk about this radio show, and it is called Get Your Head Out of Your Ass. And it's when I actually started becoming aware of how much money was coming in and how much money was coming out, and started tracking things, and it changed everything for me. So that is tool number 2, track it, track it. All right. The other thing in the toolkit I have is a checklist. So there's a daily checklist that you will go through, and you will check off each thing to make sure that you did the thing. Another way of tracking. Another way of tracking. I recently did a, have you heard, this is so funny to me. Have you heard of the 75 hard? Okay, this is a 75-day program where you work out twice a day. One of them has to be outside. You drink so much water a day. You read 10 pages of a nonfiction book a day. There's all these things. And it's called hard for a reason. And my sister Jackie and I were talking about it at Thanksgiving. And we'd both heard about it and both been inspired by it. But neither of us were willing to choose 75 days. It's just like that. It's like tracking a year for me for money, like looking at my year rather than monthly. It's too long. It's too much. It's just a no. So what we did was a 7-day hard. And I laugh because it just sounds so funny, like 75 to 7. And I'm watching one of my sweet friends, Tanya, right now. She's doing a 75 hard again. She's done it once or twice or maybe more. I'm not sure. It's so amazing to watch. But anyway, I did a 7-day hard and it was phenomenal. I loved it. And I did it. And what actually contributed to me so much was I was looking for my phone, but it's there. It's recording this. I have a goal tracker app. I don't even know the name of it. I can find it. We'll put it in the show notes once I find it. I think it's brilliant. I love it. It did cost me a little bit, like maybe $2 or $3. It wasn't very much money for the gift it gave me, because literally every day I just went on when I drank. And actually, for me, for water, I split it up into 3 parts. So I wanted to have so much in the morning, so much in the afternoon, and so much in the evening. So I broke those down so that I could go in and basically feel accomplished that I got my morning water in, I got my afternoon water in. It's another thing that I know about myself. I require to feel like accomplished, like I completed something, I got something done. And that's one of the ways, is that if I can check things off or I can scratch them off on a list, that really works for me. So again, you just got to know yourself. And if you don't know yet, have fun exploring what that might be for you, what that might look like for you, what might be fun for you to do. Okay, so that was tool number 2. Tool number 3 is to be aware of the limitations and clear them. So this is where, again, we go back to the level of presence. You want to be so present that when you're talking to somebody, or you're talking to yourself in your head, that you can start to perceive the energy when there's a limitation there. And what that means for most of us, I can't say all of us, but probably for most of us, when we start talking about something that is a limitation, it actually contracts our energy. It actually feels heavy to us. There's a denseness to it. That's the best words I can give to it. So let's say you're talking with a friend and you're talking about business. Let's say you're in business and you're talking to your friend and you're just saying, oh, business has been so hard lately. There's nobody's spending any money, and there's just a recession going on. And if you're willing to be present when you're talking, which, let's be honest, most people aren't, so dare to be different, my sweet friends. If you're willing to be present when you're talking, you would actually get ick with that. You would actually start to be really aware that that's a limitation. And so you don't have to stop yourself in that moment. I would very quickly, as quickly as you can. and then take note of it. Like maybe just think of it and go, okay, when I get home, I'm going to look at this. Or maybe the friend is similar to you. And so you could say, whoa, just a minute. Let me stop what I'm saying right now. That feels really icky. There's some lies here or something. I mean, who knows? Doesn't matter. For you personally, you just want to go and look at that. You want to look at what was that? Okay, money's really tight. Nobody's buying. Is that actually true? No. Okay. And then you can clear that point of view in whatever way. So again, I use the tools from Access Consciousness. So what I do when I catch myself saying something that isn't true, whether it's in my mind or out loud, is interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Whew. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. So let's do that together. So, let's use one that might be a little bit more general for everybody. Let's go with money is hard right now. No, let's just go with money's hard. Money is hard. Let's just stay there. There's enough energy on that one. So money is hard, money is hard, money is hard. Interesting points of views. We have these points of views. Interesting points of views. We have these points of views. Interesting points of views. We have these points of views. Interesting points of views, we have these points of views. Yeah. There's a little bit of a change in that, and that's what we're looking for. You might not get where it's totally, absolutely 100% spacious, and that's okay. You just want to get to where there's a change, where it's a lighter for you in that moment. And that's really it. Stay present with what's going on. When there's contraction, just know that there's a point of view in there, there's a limitation in there, and you just got to clear it using whatever way works for you, whatever way is going to create it changing very, very quickly. Yes. And in the toolkit, of course, the toolkit, I have a simple mindset technique to change money limitations workbook with a video. So if you would like more about that, come and play with us in the toolkit. There's also a Facebook group for the toolkit too, guys, and you'll find the link somewhere. Somewhere you'll find it. Now, number 4 is the tool number 4, and these aren't in any order, guys. They're just the way that they popped up as I was looking at this morning. You want to be the energy of what you're asking for. So if you're asking for, whether it's $1,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, it doesn't matter, whatever you're asking for, you want to be the energy of that. Now, what does that mean, really? Yeah. I started studying with somebody called Rachel Rogers earlier this year. I'm just in her coaching program. It's a brilliant space. And one of the things that she talks about is $1 million decisions. Now, she's not asking you to go out and spend $1 million. What she's asking you to do is to really start looking at, is that $1 million decision? So if you are, let's say you work, again, in your business, and you do sessions for $100 an hour, and you're fairly booked out, and then on top of that, you're also doing your bookkeeping. So chances are you could find a bookkeeper who would actually charge you less than $100 an hour to do your books while you were doing the $100 sessions that you love to do. And so it's really just starting to pay attention. Again, being aware, that's always what we're looking for. The more aware you are, the more ease you're going to have with everything, my sweet friends. It'll also help you to start being aware of when you're not being the energy of your ask. And it's not about using a credit card to go and spend that money either, guys. That's not what I'm talking about at all. It's really just to look at, and it'll also help you with being aware of those limitations. You'll start to see where you're adding to it. In fact, the other day I went shopping, and it was so interesting because I went into a shop. I bought this beautiful, beautiful shirt, blouse. Do people still call them blouses? I'm not sure, but I call it a blouse. I love it. And it's in what I've been calling my new favorite store. So I went in there, and it's only my second time in there. I didn't even know it existed until a few weeks ago. And I walked around in there. It was 30% off because it was the week of Black Friday sales and stuff. And so I'm walking around in there, and I probably spent a good hour just walking around looking at everything. And there was two other things. One was a beautiful, beautiful blanket, just gorgeous. They have like houseware stuff too, decorations. It's a really amazing store. It's called 𝘮𝘮𝘯𝘮𝘮, in case you are familiar. And so this beautiful blanket, and then this pillow. And I walked around and I hummed and I hawed, and I knew for sure I was buying this. And then I also bought a couple of soaps, and away I went. And later that night I was like, what? But wait, I didn't even ask a question about the blanket or the pillow. What? Like, it was so interesting to me to really kind of get present with that. Now, I could have went back the next day, of course, and all the things, and who knows, I may still. But it was just so interesting. And what I really got in that is that I was being the energy of everybody else that was shopping from the place of lack. Because there was not even a question in my world. This was a yes, and I had asked my body about this. That was very clear. The soaps, again, very, very easy to ask my body about. For some reason, with the blanket and the pillow, and it could have been that it was a no and I didn't require to actually ask the questions. Again, it's not relevant. But what I know for sure is that I had tapped in on those other items. I had tapped into other people's worlds with regards to those. So please know you are infinitely aware, and you are probably going to pick up people's stuff. And you just want to make sure that you're living in your world, in your financial reality, in your energy, in your ask, and you're being that. Because we're all so different. You would not be watching or listening to this if you weren't drastically different, my sweet friends. And so what you want to just start to be aware of is that other people probably have a lot of limitations that they've bought into. You could be buying into those limitations too, or you could be living what's actually true for you, which is, if it's a yes, if it's a yes to purchase it and it's going to create greater in your life, then it's going to create greater, and that's all that's required. So just something to kind of be aware of. The add-on for those of you who would like to choose the toolkit, there's also an option, if you would like, you don't have to, purchase 10 audios. And they are basically all what we want to call them meditations, energetic exercises, to do all sorts of things. One will be to blow up and melt debt and stuff like that. And it's all that sort of stuff that'll keep you in the energy of your ask. And they'll be for all different, 10 different things. So yeah. So I just wanted to share that experience shopping, because it's so easy to go into other people's worlds with where they are, rather than what's actually true for us. What's actually true for us. Yeah. All right, so we have talked about 4 different tools. Of course, there's so many different tools that you can use to manifest your money goal. And again, I invite you to join us in the ultimate Manifest Your Money Goal toolkit that will be available on a link somewhere above below. If you can't find it, message or email me and we will get it to you. So thank you so much for being here, my sweet friends. I'm so incredibly grateful for you, and I wonder what it would be like to continuously actualize our money goals, our money targets in 2022 beyond what we've never imagined possible.